Machine Configure. The Count Setup screen is the main screen you see when starting the machine. You will need to configure the machine with the bend module you are using, the bar diameter, and the number of bars you are running. Touch any active box to change the parameters. Next, select the Machine Configure button. The Machine Configure screen allows you to set up the machine. Some areas are password protected to ensure only authorized operators can make changes. Once the password is entered, all areas can be changed. Select the machine type, straight or coiled bar. In this instance, we have number 4 bend module selected and are running coiled bar. Verify that the correct tooling parts are installed on the machine for the bar size indicated on the screen. Touch the Home icon in the lower left corner of the screen to return to the main Count Setup page. Bar Changeover. To change the bar diameter over, first loosen up the bolts on the straightener magazines. Disengage both sets of the straighteners by loosening the bolts and spinning the magazine out of the way. Set the console switch to manual and then use the forward-reverse feed button and reverse the bar out of the machine just past the internal straighteners of the machine, leaving the bar still in the external straightener of the machine. Then tighten up the pre-feed drive. There is a bolt on the external straightener that will tighten a pre-feed drive up against the bar. This will assist you in loading the bar into the machine, as well as running the bar out of the machine. After the machine is loaded, remember to loosen up the pre-feed drive when you are in regular run mode to clear it from interfering. From here, you can use the forward-reverse switch on the external straightener to back the bar the rest of the way out of the machine. Tooling Changeover. The bar tooling will need to be switched out when changing from number 5 16mm bar to number 3 10mm and number 4 12mm bar. The stationary blade is removed by removing the 2 bolts by the secondary drive. The tooling on the bend head will also need to be switched out by pulling the 2 bolts of the bend tooling. To make the removal of the bend tooling easier, leave the bolts of the movable blade in. Remove the tooling. Then you can remove the bolts for the movable shear blade. With the Allen wrench, slide over the position or rods in the shaft. Then work the blade loose and remove. Replace tooling by reversing the steps for removal. Striking Pin Setup. There are 2 striking pins. One for number 3 10mm, number 4 12mm, and one for number 5 16mm rebar. The rectangular bases of the striking pins will only fit into the groove of the bend disc one way for the bolt holes to line up. Fasten into the hole on the bend disc and secure. If you are running circles, the optional cam followers should be installed on the tooling head. With an Allen wrench, screw in the cam follower as shown. Use the number 5 16mm striking pin. Run circles 1 strand at a time and only on number 3 10mm and number 4 12mm rebar. Drive wheel setup. If you are running number 5 16mm, switch out the secondary drive wheels to the number 5 16mm wheel. You use an Allen wrench to remove the bolt in the center of the top drive wheel. Switch out the secondary drive rolls for the bottom. Use an Allen wrench and remove the 4 bolts. Use the single groove number 5 16mm wheel on the bottom. Replace and hand tighten. Do not over-tighten. The primary drive wheels should be replaced as well. There are single groove number 5 16mm primary drive wheels. Use an Allen wrench to remove the bolts on the guard. Then remove the 2 bolts holding the primary drive wheel in and replace with the single groove number 5 16mm drive wheel. Loading bar. To load the rebar, loosen the 2 bolts on the bar magazines on both the external and internal straighteners. Rotate the magazines out of the way. Feed the coils through the movable arm on the carrier and cradle assembly. The outside strand should be on the top when you feed it in, and the inside strand should be on the bottom. Pull the bar to the machine and pass it through the bar guard opening and into the slotted straightener wheel. Then tighten up the pre-feed drive. There is a bolt on the external straightener that will tighten the pre-feed drive up against the bar. This will assist you in loading the bar into the machine as well as running the bar out of the machine. Use the pre-feed controls on the external straightener to feed the bar through to the primary drive. Once the bar is in the primary drive, use the feed switch on the console to drive the bar through the machine. Remember to loosen the pre-feed drive to prevent it from interfering during operation once bar is loaded. Retighten the set screws on the magazines. You can use the wrench provided with your 1016. Then adjust the set screws on the straighteners so that the straightener wheels are just snug. Check the straightening wheels by hand to make sure they no longer spin. You will need to do this on both the horizontal and vertical straighteners. Then, mark the ends of the bars before the bar guide on the external straightener. Run the bar through the straighteners, shearing off sections until you get to the marks of the end of the bar. From here, adjustments can be done to make the bar straighter. To control the bar from curling away from the machine or diving into the machine, the external straightener is the area you want to adjust. Small 1/8 or 1/4 turns on the first set of straighteners can make the differences in the bar straightness. Do not over-tighten. If the bar is bending up or in the down direction, the internal straightener is the one you want to adjust. Small 1/8 or 1/4 turns of the first set of straighteners can make the differences in the bar straightness. Do not over-tighten. Individual strands can then be controlled using the split wheel assembly on each of the straighteners. Tighten the set bolt on the split wheel so it is no longer spinning freely on the inside strand. Then loosen the bolt on the split wheel. The front wheel is concentric and can be spun to make fine adjustments to the individual strands until the bar is straight. Retighten the bolt on the split wheel. From here, adjustments can be done to make the bar straighter. To control the bar from curling away from the machine or diving into the machine, the external straightener is the area you want to adjust. Small 1/8 or 1/4 turns on the first set of straighteners can make the differences in the bar straightness. Do not over-tighten. If the bar is bending up or in the down direction, the internal straightener is the one you want to adjust. Small 1/8 or 1/4 turns of the first set of straighteners can make the differences in the bar straightness. Do not over-tighten. Individual strands can then be controlled using the split wheel assembly on each of the straighteners. Tighten the set bolt on the split wheel so it is no longer spinning freely on the inside strand. Then loosen the bolt on the split wheel. The front wheel is concentric and can be spun to make fine adjustments to the individual strands until the bar is straight. Retighten the bolt on the split wheel. Manual shape input. From the Count Setup screen, select one of the boxes in the Shape column. By selecting these boxes, you enter the Program screen. Start with the first line of the shape. Touch the column that says Leg Length. A pop-up box will appear. Enter in the leg length desired, then press Enter to exit the pop-up. In the next column, select the bend direction. Another pop-up box will appear. Icons for the up and the down bend are displayed. Select the direction you wish for the first bend. Next, select the angle of the bend by touching the box in the Angle column. Another pop-up box will appear. There are pre-programmed common angle shapes at the bottom of the pop-up screen for faster entry, or you can use the keypad to manually enter the angle desired. You can also set the feed and bend speeds for each leg length and bend. Continue to enter the leg length, bend direction, and angle of the bend for the rest of the shape. Press the Home screen and check your bar size that you are running. Be sure to select number 3, 4, or 5, depending on which bar size the operator wants to run. Check that the proper tooling is installed and the bend pin is spaced properly. Tell the controller how many strands of bar you will be running. For instance, number 3 10mm rebar and number 4 12mm allows you the option to run 1 or 2 strands. Number 5 16mm rebar is limited to only a single strand. You may want to check the Machine Configured tab to double-check that the calibration settings look correct as an optional step. Press the Home button to return to the Count Setup screen. Select the shape you want to run by touching the Select column on the right side of the screen. Any shape selected will turn from white to red. Press the Run button. Make sure the emergency stop button on the controller is not depressed. Put the machine in auto by twisting the selector switch of the console. Then, press the Continue button on the console to run the shape. Shape libraries. From the Program screen, press the Files button. You can save custom files into the Shape library or select from standard CRSI shapes. To start with a saved shape, select the shape you want by touching it on the touchscreen. Then press Copy Shape to Working Shape. This will load that shape into the Program screen. From here, you can run the shape as is or modify the leg lengths as needed, speeding data entry. To save a file in the Shape library, press the Files button. Select an empty area where you want to copy the shape to. Then press the Copy Working Here button. If you would like to clear a shape, press the Home button to return to the Program screen. Press the Clear Setup button in the Program screen. A pop-up box will appear. Press the green thumbs up. Then press the Files button to save it into the Shape library. Select the box you wish to copy over. Then press Copy Working Here. An empty box will appear. Running shapes. From the Count Setup screen, select the shape you want to run by touching the Select column on the right side of the screen. Any shape selected will turn from white to red. Press the Run button on the touchscreen. Make sure the emergency stop button on the console is not depressed. Put the machine in auto by twisting the manual automatic selector switch on the console. Then press the Continue button on the console to run the shape. Bend calibration 90 degrees. To calibrate 90-degree bends on the machine, you must first bend a shape in the up direction and one in the down direction. From the Count Setup screen, select the line you want to add your 90-degree bend to. In this instance, we are selecting Line 2. Touch the Shape box. The program screen will appear. Touch the leg length box on Line 1. Enter 10 inches from the pop-up keypad and then press Enter. Touch the Bend column and set the direction of the bend. Select Angle column and enter the degrees from the presets or manually from the keypad. Then press Enter. Set a 90-degree bend in the down direction and a 90-degree bend in the up direction. Once you have programmed the bends, press the Home button to return to the Count Setup screen. Set the Parts Done column to read 0. Then select the shape, in this instance Line 2, by pressing the Select column, turning the box from white to red. Press the Run button on the touchscreen. Be sure that the emergency stop is not depressed on the console. Put the machine into auto by turning the selector switch on the console from manual to auto. Then press the Continue button to run the shape. Run the angle in the up and in the down direction. Put them on a flat surface and check with a protractor. If the bends are slightly weak or slightly strong, you can adjust the angle. To adjust, from the Run Part screen, select the Home button. Then press the Machine Configure button. Select the Home SW Offset box. Adjust the number of counts to change the degree of bends. Add counts to increase angle and decrease counts to decrease angle until the same angles are achieved up and down. Once the bends up and down are the same, you can then calibrate the 90-degree bend. To adjust, from the Run Part screen, select the Home button. Then press the Machine Configure button. Select the Bend Calibration 90 box. Adjust the number of counts to change the degree of bends. Add counts to increase angle and decrease counts to decrease angle until 90 degrees is achieved. Bend calibration 180 degrees. From the Count Setup screen, select the shape line you wish to test your 180-degree bends. You must bend a shape in the up and down direction to calibrate for 180 degrees. In this instance, we are using lines 4 and 5. Select the shape to enter the program screen. In the program screen, press the box under the leg length column to enter the leg length from the pop-up screen. Press Enter. In this instance, we are using a 5-inch lead leg. Then enter the bend direction. One must be in the down direction and one must be in the up direction. In this instance, we are using the down direction. Enter in the angle of 180 degrees from the presets or manually from the pop-up window, then press Enter. The next leg length will be 10 inches. You will see the shape being drawn on the right-hand side of the screen. Press the Home button to return to the Count Setup screen. Select the 2 lines you wish to run by pressing the box under the Select column. The lines selected will have red boxes, not white. Press the Run button. Be sure the emergency stop button is not depressed on the console and the machine is set to automatic. Press the Continue button on the console to run the shape. Run one in the up direction and one in the down direction. Then measure. Be sure that the 2 legs run parallel to each other. To adjust, from the Run Part screen, select the Home button. Then press the Machine Configure button. Select the Bend Calibration 180 box. Adjust the number of counts to change the degree of bends. Add counts to increase angle and decrease counts to decrease angle until 180 degrees is achieved. Bend Trim Speed Slope. Bend trim allows the operator to trim the angle of the bends while the shape is running. From the Run Parts screen, you can adjust the bend trim. Negative trim makes the angles more open. Positive trim closes the angles tighter. Speed slope is adjusted typically for larger shapes or shapes with longer legs. It is used to slow the shape feed and bend over the length of the bar to prevent it from whipping out of plane. Feed calibration. From the Count Setup screen, select one of the lines you would like to enter the straight length into. In this instance, we are using line number 7. Select the shape box to enter the program screen. Select the first leg length line and enter in a 10-inch long section in the pop-up box that appears. Select Enter. Press the home screen to return to the Count Setup screen. Be sure to select line 7 by touching the Select column on the far right and turning the box from white to red. Then, press the Run button on the touch screen. Be sure that the emergency stop is not depressed on the console and the machine is in automatic mode. Then, press the Continue button on the console to run the length. Measure the distance. If the length is off, from the Run Parts screen, press the Home button. Then press the Machine Configure button. Select Feed Calibration and adjust the counts up or down depending on the length you measured. First Feed Adder. The First Feed Adder allows you to adjust leg lengths if they are coming out uneven. The best way to test this is to run a U-bar with all the legs the same size. In this instance, we are running 10-inch sides. Mark the ends of the bars so you know which leg was the first leg. Feed the bar back into the machine and cut off the ends to make sure that they are even. Then run the shape. Measure the leg lengths. In this instance, our third leg is a bit short. We need to adjust our First Feed Adder. From the Run Parts screen, press the Home button. Then touch the Machine Configure button. Select the First Feed Adder box. In this instance, we will adjust the number to -1. Press Enter from the pop-up box, then press the Home button to return to the Count Setup screen. Press the Run button and rerun the shape. Mark the ends of the bar again to make sure you know which leg length is the first one. Feed the bar back in the machine manually and cut off the ends to make sure they are even. Rerun the shape and measure.